The Sound and Spirit Artist Link Extra. Crystal Lewis.
I think the first time I sang on stage, I was 4. And my mom says she dragged me onto the stage because I loved doing it at home, and all of a sudden I got stage fright and made me do it, and I was so mad. And then she said, of course, she couldn't get me off the stage after that. So, you know, it was one of those strange things.
Lord, I believe in you. I'll always believe in you. Though I can't see you with my eyes, deep in my heart, your presence I find. Lord, I believe in you. For such a time as this, isn't it much too great a risk? I've never flown from the edge of a cliff, never walked on the water. But if I turn away, how will I know what I have missed? Have I waited all of my life for such a time as this? It's death for my life, God and I, God and I. If apart from Him, I know I would surely die. I know that I'm not much to give, God and I. It's only for His love that I have my life to live. Jesus has changed me, not the same, not the same. No, yeah. Jesus has changed me, not the same. Remember who you are. Remember who you are.
Hi, this is Mark Ryder, and you're listening to the Sound and Spirit Artist Link Extra, featuring an in-depth look into the lives and music of today's top contemporary Christian artists. Our special guest is one of Christian music's most talented female vocalists. I'm talking about Crystal Lewis, Myrrh recording artist. Crystal, it's good to have you on the show. And of course, first thing we want to ask you is, how did you get this huge voice, this great singing talent that you have? Tell us the story.
I think the first time I sang on stage, I was 4. And my mom says she dragged me onto the stage because I loved doing it at home, and all of a sudden I got stage fright and made me do it, and I was so mad. And then she said, of course, she couldn't get me off the stage after that. So, you know, it was one of those strange things. But, you know, I grew up in my dad's church and grew up singing, of course, there. And my mom is an absolutely fantastic musician, and her influence musically has a great deal to do with who I am and what I do, I guess.
You know, let's talk about your new album, Gold. It is so good, and I think every one of your albums gets better and better musically, lyrically. I don't know how you do it. Can you give us some contrast from this album as opposed to previous projects you released?
Let's see. Musically, I don't think it's all that different from the last record, other than it's, I don't know, some of it maybe is different because we used some different players, some amazing players, which I sat in the room with Nathan East while he played on all but, I think, 2 songs on this record, and I just sat there, like, I couldn't stop smiling. I was just giddy. I mean, I was so excited because we have seen 4 play live, which is the band he's in, and you know, he has done a lot of things with Anita Baker and things like that, who I so admire, and it was just, I mean, we were just like, oh, I can't believe this is happening. And then Abe Laboriel Sr. is a fantastic bass player as well, and he played on Beauty for Ashes. But his son, Abe Jr., played all the drums on this record, all but a couple songs. And that was just, that inspired me creatively, because I hadn't done any vocals yet, other than some little scratch things. And to watch him play was something that, you know, it was so great to be able to sit in the studio and listen to what these musicians contributed creatively to the project, and know that for some of them, at least for Abe Jr. for sure, at least he pulled it off. I don't know if he meant it this way or what, but I mean, you just watch him. This is not a job to him. This is like, he loves this. He loves what he is doing. And that was like, for me, very, very inspiring because he's really fantastic. As far as the content lyrically of the record, the title was taken from a passage of scripture in Job chapter 23, verse 10, I believe. And it says, he knows the way that I take, and when he has tested me, I will come forth as gold. And I just loved that passage. And of course, we had also, about the same time, decided on doing the title song, Gold, and which was written by my brother-in-law, Chris Lazat. And it was such an interesting concept for the song, being about single motherhood and how devastating that can be, and that song really frames the whole album, really, because it says all your trials, all your heartaches, all your sorrows, all your pain are gold. And this album is largely about faith. It's largely about the fact that we believe, though we don't understand and though we don't see the God that we say we know, but still we believe.
Let's go ahead and get into some music. We're going to play the song Lord I Believe. Why don't you tell us about that song?
Sure. That song, the song Lord I Believe in You, was done at one of the Harvest Crusades that I did last year or so. And one of the guys that's been doing the worship for those, his name's Tommy Walker, and he lives in LA. He's a worship leader at a church up in Pasadena. And he wrote the song. And actually, the first time I heard it was a friend of mine who's in the praise band that has done the Harvest Crusades with me for years, came to our church and sang it. And my husband Brian leaned over to me and he just said, "We are doing that song. That is a great song." And so it just turned out to be the perfect summary for the album, dealing with faith. And I mean, the lyrics say, "Though we can't see you with our eyes, and your throne seems so far away, yet I'm filled with an inexpressible joy." And the chorus goes on to say, no one can take this joy away, and that's almost directly out of 1 Peter. And I share that almost every night on the tour. We close with Lord, I Believe in You. And that's come to mean so much to me.